y'all doing? Good. Well, it is good to be with you. My name is Curtis, if you haven't caught on to that. I am from St. Louis. Anybody ever been to St. Louis? Anybody like St. Louis? Anyone hate St. Louis? You both big as over, I got you. It is good to be with you. I was here, I think about 3 years ago, and so I think if you were here then, you probably are gone or a senior now. Was anybody here 3 years ago? Man, I'm telling y'all, what up, people? It's good to see y'all. And I'm grateful to be here, especially George brought me a little goodie bag, which included some gummy bears in there. And did you remember the jar? Okay, so whoever gave me gummy bears, I was like, I wonder if this was just a coincidence, but last time I was here, I shared how I am emphatically in love with gummy bears. Anyone can join me in that love. I am addicted to gummy bears, so I'm already happy to be here. We are going to be talking about Jesus, by the way, all right? And we are going to dive fully into one of the most profound books of the Bible. Let me get my timer started before I'm here all night long. So we are going to be looking at Jesus over all. Say it with me. Jesus over all. We're going to be looking at what that means, why that matters, why you, regardless of what age you are, 6, 7, 8, college, 50, it doesn't matter. Like, the most important thing about you is how you see Jesus. Some old dead guy had this quote. He said that what comes into our minds when we think about God is the most important thing about us. And so I would apply it to Jesus specifically, that what you, turn to your neighbor and say you. Turn to your other neighbor and say, I meant you too. Like, what you think about Jesus is the most important thing about you. More important than school grades, more important than where you go to college, more important than who you're liking, more important than who you're crushing on, more important than where you live, more important than what career you might have, more important than anything is what you think about Jesus. And so this book, Colossians, if you've ever seen it, it's a really short book, but it's what we call it, it's a complete, full-color picture of Jesus. No filters at all. Jesus is not diluted down. You're getting the full force of who Jesus is. And the book was written by a guy named Paul. He was sitting in prison writing to these people, the church of Colossae. And these people, he didn't know these people, but one of his homeboys, Epaphras, came and said, hey man, here's a church that I planted, and here are their needs that they have. And these needs, these concerns, they bothered Paul. For what was happening is, see, Epaphras, he planted this church. And he planted this church for people to love Jesus and see Jesus and give their life fully to Jesus. But before they knew it, that the culture, the world around them began to dilute their Jesus. That they weren't rejecting Jesus like many of us. They weren't saying, we don't want you, Jesus. They were just adding things to Jesus, right? Like, they were treating Jesus, religious spirituality like a Chinese buffet. Anybody go to Chinese buffets? Yeah. What's your favorite thing on Chinese buffet? Chicken, sesame chicken, orange chicken, sweet sour chicken, all the chickens, they all good. Now here's the beautiful thing about Chinese buffets. Like, the glory in the buffet is how much you can fit on your plate. The glory is how many different things. Like, if you go to a Chinese buffet and you got 2 things on your plate, you're doing it wrong. Right? You got to pile up that plate. You got to get every kind of chicken there is on that plate to experience the full glory of the Chinese buffet. But that's very different with Jesus. See, when we go through life, if you do what they did, see, in their time, they just believed, hey, every God mattered. Jesus is just one of many. Take what what you want, take what you choose. I'm going to keep Jesus and add a little bit of this and that to him. And surely it will be better if I do. And what Jesus is going to show them and us is that to add anything to Jesus, you don't get better off. You actually get worse off. To add is to dilute, right? To add is to minimize the impact. I like when my guy up here talked about us old people. I'm 41 years old, and I am one of those old people that like disgusting black liquid to drink in the morning. But many, I like it as strong as it gets. But some of y'all, how many of y'all drink some sort of coffee drink? Raise your hand. How many of y'all drink coffee with a little bit of cream? Raise your hand. Now, how many of y'all drink cream with a little bit of coffee? Raise your hand. See, now you robbing yourself of the glory of coffee, right? And many of us are diluting Jesus, and Jesus is the glorious black coffee there is. You get it, it gets all up in your veins, baby. Yes. All right? So Jesus said, don't add to him. And this is what Paul is getting across to these people. And so we live in that time. I will tell you that is, though these people that this book was written to lived so long ago that you have no idea where they're at, but it's so interesting that the very things they struggle with, we do. Do we not live in the reality that there are many choices, many things, that Jesus is one way? And even if he's your way, he ain't got to be the biggest way. I mean, we ain't got to be all of in Jesus. Just add him to a little bit of other things, and we're good. Is that not the time we live in? Or hey, man, Jesus is for me, but whatever's for you, you do you, baby. You do you. I'm going to do me. So we minimize our Jesus and make Jesus equal to every other way to this God. And so I think we have a lot to learn from this book. So let's look at Colossians chapter 1. Each session we'll spend time in each chapter. Colossians chapter 1. Today we're going to attempt to look at 15 through 23. I say attempt because as you can tell, I like to talk, and it could be all night long. 15 through 23. I'm going to read the first few verses, 15 through 17. I'm reading through a translation on NIV, whatever you got, doesn't matter. It'll mostly be the same, all right? Colossians 1, 15 through 17. Say, read it, Pastor. Read it, Pastor. Say it again. Say, read it, Pastor. Read it, Pastor. All right, I will. He is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation. For by him all things were created, things in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or powers or rulers or authorities. All things were created by him and for him. Now, if you got a Bible, that's your Bible, actually, even if it ain't your Bible, and you got a pencil or a pen, circle created by him and for him. Circle, underline, that's a big deal. All right? Especially the two words for him at the end. All right? This is how we read them and look at our Bibles. We write in them. All right? All things were created by him and for him. He is before all things, and in him all things hold together. First and foremost, what we see, why is Jesus over all? Why should he be over all? Well, the first reason is because Jesus is the originator. He's the originator of all things. He is the original of all things. This is what we see, that when we see Jesus, and when we see him, when we're talking about this Jesus in the Bible, and so the Bible is a gift given to us. This is not simply a history book, but it is a book that chronicles the real life Jesus who walked the earth and did these things that have been historically confirmed. And we get the benefit of seeing him, how he moved and touched and felt and responded. And so in seeing Jesus, what the image of the invisible God tells us that through Jesus we see God. Like if you ever was one that said, man, I wish I knew what this God was like. Like I wish I could see God. I wish I could know what he thought, what he felt, I wish I knew what his heart felt about what I'm going through right now. I wish I knew what God felt about my loneliness and my failure, my shame, my depression. I wish I knew about these things. Well, God gave you a gift. His name is Jesus. And he said, man, when you look at Jesus, when you see him move and talk and interact, you are seeing the very essence and heart of God. This is why these 4 books in the Bible, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, are so essential. Always keep your eye on those books because they give us the full view of who God is. He is the image of the invisible God. John 1:18 says that no one has ever seen God, but God, the one and only, who is at the Father's side, has made him known. He's revealed. He's explained him. Jesus explained God to us. See, in Jesus we see all that we need to know. So let's just double click on this. Okay, so how does God feel about those just consumed with this sense of shame? And most of us probably don't even know really what that means. It's hard to put your arms around it, but you know that sense that I am a nobody and a nothing, and I am just filthy and dirty from the inside out, and I don't just do bad things, but there's something just horribly wrong with me. How does God view and deal with them? Well, in Luke 7, we see the story of Jesus interacting with this sinful woman, very likely a prostitute. She comes in and weeping and washing his feet. And it is expected by all other people that Jesus should know who this woman is and be done with her, do away with her. For she is a prostitute, and no honorable man will let such a shameful, dirty woman touch him, not even his feet. But Jesus welcomes her into his presence, looks at her, speaks to her, and treats her with dignity, and affirms her, and sends her out forgiven and loved. This is how God does to the shameful and the dirty. But what does he do to the guilty? I mean, maybe y'all look like good people. Maybe y'all over here, maybe y'all look like good people. Okay, I'm talking about me. What do you do with people like me who just have failed God? Like miserably failed God. Not accidentally failed. Like I've done some things that I will tell you, I blew it. And I don't want to ask you to raise your hand, but I'm sure there's people in this room that can relate to the statement, I blew it. I am guilty before God. What does he do with them? Well, Jesus, he had a homeboy named Peter who failed. You'd be hard-pressed to find anybody who failed him more than Peter. Failed him more drastically than Peter. Peter, we know that Peter denied Jesus. But Peter denied Jesus because he was punked out by a little teenage girl. Cussed the little girl out. Yeah, he did. Ain't that so? That's why we love the Bible. It's kind of true. So Peter, confronted by this teenage girl, he's overwhelmed because he doesn't want to be associated with Jesus, whom he had walked with. And all of a sudden, he is telling her off. And it says in the Bible that he wasn't far off from Jesus. For Jesus saw him. They were close enough for Peter to see him. And Peter still denied him, failed him, was guilty of it all, and ran away. And what does God do with them when Jesus came out of the tomb? Who did he add to the list of people he went to see? Jesus says, I want Peter. He pursues Peter. He goes after Peter. He forgives Peter. And he restores Peter. children. What does God think about children, which is important? Because I will tell you, you can learn a lot about a person about how they treat children. Because children have the unique ability to get on your last nerve. And I mean your very last one. Right? Children have ability to, you can have a good day, smile. Have you ever babysat children? How many came to babysit and you were happy? I mean, you were happy and joyful, and then all of a sudden you got around them kids, and they changed your day. Raise your hand. Just tell the truth. Let's thank you. We all have experience. If you've experienced kids, you know kids crazy. I got 2 of them, 3 and 7. They're crazy. So how does God think about them? What's interesting, because like in Jesus' ministry, these are a group of people that Jesus says, let them come to me. Which is important, because what he says is, let the vulnerable and the young, those who would normally be put out, because even in this time, children would typically be put on the outside. But he says, no, I want them here. I want their jokes, I want their annoyances. I want them, like my 3-year-old who was just fascinated with tooting, i.e. farting. Like every time, he's just fascinated. We'd be at the dinner table, I tooted, like that. Like, well, we don't even know all that. Talk to yourself, fool. I'm calling a fool. Love you. All right. But Jesus said, with all that come. Like, this is God. But we can go down a list of all the things that we see in Jesus when it comes to God. When we see Jesus, when we see the heart, the essence of who God is, so often, that if I said, close your eyes, and what is the image that comes into your mind when I say, who do you see when I say, see God? Most of us, if you're like me, I remember for years, all I saw was an old, wrinkled up man with a long beard. Don't ask me why. An old, wrinkled up beard, an old man with a long beard, he was barely happy. And he was just waiting for me to screw up so he could hit me with his little cane. Right? I have no idea where that image came from. But if I'm honest with you, that's literally what I thought. But Jesus is saying, God is telling us that if you really want a full, unpacked image of who I am, look at Jesus. Paul would say Jesus is the firstborn over all creation. Firstborn. Overall creation. At first glance, we think that it just means that he was the one created first, born first. How many of y'all are firstborn? First one born in your family. You're the oldest sibling. Can't stand y'all. I'm the youngest. I am not one. And old siblings. By the way, I love y'all. I'm glad y'all here. But older siblings have a way of wanting to become your second parent, don't they? Yeah. See. Thank you. I'm like, did anybody tell you my mama too? Right, I got an older sister. She like that. How many of y'all, like me, y'all second or third born? We like to kick it and have fun, do we not? I mean, we are the ones, this is what, we make the world fun. All right? These older siblings, they just want to rule stuff. All right. But here's Jesus. It does not mean the order of his birth, but really, and the language of this points to his priority, his importance, and that it's his firstborn. It's not that he was born first because he was not created. He had always been because he was God, but that in all of creation he is supreme priority. He has a position over everything, for Jesus is over all. And by him all things were created. All things were created by him and for him. What things? All things. Just in case you wonder, Paul said things in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or powers or rulers or authorities. He created and controlled everything. Galaxies, planets, stars, the billions upon billions of stars. And it says that he named them. When Genesis 1:1 in the beginning, God created, it wasn't just simply God, it was Jesus doing the creating. Every molecule and atom itself, billions of animals, plants, and people. Every animal species discovered, and hear me, undiscovered. Do you know that there are 15,000 to 20,000 new species of animals discovered every year? Did you know that? See, that's why I don't camp. That was not my story. Curtis got eaten by the animal they just discovered. No, that ain't my story, right? Like 15 to 20,000 new species of animals discovered. And God has so many things for us to explore in what he created. There's a quote that says, there is not a square inch in the whole domain of our human existence over which Christ, who is sovereign over all, does not cry, mine. Jesus looks all of creation and says, mine. And he's the only one that can say that. Well, my 3-year-old, he likes to say mine. My 7-year-old, and I tell him all the time, I'm sorry you got a crazy daddy. I remind him all the time, ain't nothing yours. Those toys, that ain't yours. Those are mine. I have to let you borrow them. I pay for them until you start paying my mortgage. It ain't yours. Right? It's mine. But Jesus says over me and says, Curtis, it ain't yours either. It's so easy for us to say mine, and saying mine can easily backfire. I did one time when I said mine to my mom. I got upset with my mom. I told my mom, you know what? I'm sick of this. I'm sick of you being tough on me. I'm going to run away and I'm going to take my stuff. And my mom, as loving as she is, looked at me. She says, okay, but leave all of mine here. That includes all the clothes on your back. You get to wear your underwear, and that's it. So I ran away in my underwear. How many of you got a mama that got a little bit of thug in her? Like I got a mama, she got a little bit of thug in her. Like, mama, I don't know about you sometimes. But look, don't say mine. It will backfire on you. But Jesus says mine. And it's not just his, but it's for him. Custom made for him to be made much of, for life to point all to him. I mean, for him, these two words, for him, points to the deepest question that every human being ever asks. Why am I here? I promise you, you're asking that. You may not even be consciously aware that you're asking that. But at every level, you're asking, why do you exist? What is your purpose here? And what God just told us that every human being and everything has one purpose: for Jesus. And when you see and experience and give Jesus primacy and supremacy and sovereignty over all, that's when you're lined up with how you were made to be. That means you're not fully human until Jesus is over all in your life. For to be human is to be for him. And as long as we are living a life that's not fully for him, we are being inconsistent, not simply with Jesus, but with your own humanity. Jesus created all of us for him. Your class, your math class, your basketball practice, for him. How you sponsor your parents, for him. How you live life, for him. Everything is for him. Now, he's the originator of creation. There's a problem. It doesn't take much to see creation kind of messed up. I mean, it's pretty broken out there. I mean, you just list all the things that exist in our world that are images of the brokenness and sinfulness. But we got cats. Cats are evil. Who y'all, dog people? Dog people? Cat people? Dogs all day long. That's why all dogs go to heaven. Cats do not. We got cats, we got carrots, and we got Kardashians. That's the problem with the world. That's why it's a broken world we live in. We got foolishness around here. But seriously, we know that when we go to school, we go home, and we live in a very broken world that has depression and eating disorders and tornadoes and shootings. And so what do? Jesus, you are boldly saying that you created the world, but it's broken. Now, if I'm interviewing you, Jesus, and this is on your resume, I got questions about your performance. But this is why Paul brings in the next part, 18 through 20. Now, he is the head of the body, the church. He is the beginning and the firstborn from among the dead, so that in everything he might have the supremacy. For God was pleased to have all his fullness dwell in him, and through him to reconcile to himself all things. Everyone say all things?
All things.
Reconcile all things. Everything that's part of the creation, but that's broken, and all that we pointed to that's part of the creation is broken, down to the molecule, down to the nerve endings in your body, down to the weather systems. It is part of what we call the broken, corrupted world. But Jesus did not lose control when man thrust himself into sin. But Jesus, in full control, says, I am not just originator, but I am the leader of this thing. And being the leader, I will lead this thing back to its full restoration, back to its full reconciliation, back to its full purpose. Verse 20, and through him to reconcile to himself all things, whether things on earth or things in heaven, by making peace through his blood shed on the cross. Jesus is a leader, is a plan, the broken. No matter how broken things are, no matter how broken things seem, no matter how broken you feel, Jesus says that I am moving to restore all things and making all things right. He says he's the head of the body, the church. Don't think church buildings. Think you. If you are a believer in Jesus Christ, you're the church. All right? Thank you, brother, for amen. I don't know who do that amen, but I love that amen, brother. Thank you. You're the church. So Jesus is the head of you, and you are a full representation of what he's moving to do. So he will one day bring all things into restoration, but he is every day moving bits and pieces into restoration, and he's doing it in and through you, the church, and he is the leader. And if you know Jesus, that's just one evidence that he is the leader. He has the ability to restore what is broken, what is sinful, what is distant, and what is dead. And he didn't send you out to do the same in the world around you. And we'll do that in the session tomorrow night. He's the head of the body of the church. He is the firstborn among the dead. Remember, the firstborn, the one most important, the one the most supreme. He is the one that led the way out of the tomb as the resurrected one, making way for the rest of us to walk out redeemed, resurrected lives behind him. And all this was through his blood, making peace. This Jesus, the reason why Jesus is so glorious and beautiful and true is like this Jesus, creator of all things, sits above creation, outside of time, enters into creation. And when it says enters into, when he became human, he became fully human. He's fully human and fully God, but fully human. That means what you experience as a human, he experienced. This glorious God put flesh on. This glorious God chose to become a baby that pooped in diapers. This glorious God that chose to be dependent on is a human mom, though he created the mom. This glorious God chose to have flesh that would hurt with sunburns. This glorious God chose to walk the earth with cords on his feet. This glorious God didn't just stop there. This glorious God chose to experience the excruciating pain of the cross. This glorious God did. Like he put on flesh. And that flesh had every nerve ending that would feel every acute amount of pain caused by the nailing of his hands and feet. And he allowed himself to be put on a cross made by a tree, he created. This is why Jesus is so glorious and good. This is why Jesus should be over all. Because you're not going to find that in anywhere else. Such a God, willing to go to such a place to bring restoration and reconciliation, not simply generally, but in you. God says that God was pleased to have all his fullness dwell in him. All his fullness. Every bit of what it means for God to be God was in Jesus. Therefore, it'd be foolish to look for other things to add to Jesus. When it says that his fullness is in Jesus, and in him we experience his fullness, then to add anything to the fullness is dilute the fullness. You experience more of the fullness of Jesus Christ when you're fully anchored only in him, not adding things to him. This is what he's telling them. This is what he's telling you. You're looking to experience other things because you think in Jesus is failing you. But Jesus is not failing you. He's all that you will ever need to live this life. The fullness of him. And now, it's not meant to be theoretical, hypothetical, but very personal. This is why we see in verse 21. Once you, not just the head of the church, said once you, me, you, once you were alienated from God and were enemies in your minds because of your evil behavior. But now he has reconciled you by Christ's physical body through death to present you holy in his sight without blemish and free from accusation. This is what he does. He takes sinful people, alienated, separated from God, who oppose God in every way, who set their hearts on other things, who don't live lives that Jesus is over all, who live lives that say we are over all, who put other things on thrones next to Jesus, who give our hearts and our loves to other things and other people instead of Jesus. He takes those people and brings them in, having the power, because he's creator, he had the power to do away with all of us. But he didn't. And brings us here. Now this is what says free from accusation. We stand before God. So when we stand before God in our sinfulness, everything says we are guilty as charged. Everything says we are to do all that God would see fit because we really have loved other things more than Jesus. But Jesus died not simply so that you would be forgiven, but free from accusation. So to the whisper that in your mind that says you're still guilty, you know it's a lie. If you know Jesus, the whisper that says you are filthy and you're a loser and you're still the sin you struggle or still struggle with as a Christian, that's a lie. For in Jesus, he brings you in front of God with free accusation. Now, here's what my prayer for you is that you get it at this age. I didn't get it till I was in my early 20s. In 2001, to years of living for myself. I did not live as though Jesus was over all. I lived as Curtis was over all. Prideful and self-reliant. I loved sports and I loved academics. I gave my full self into that. And that's what I loved. That's who I was. And then slowly but surely, that which gave me life and joy and peace didn't so much anymore. And then I began to look for other things. To find it in alcohol and sex. And every time I would try to find more and more and more, the guilt and the shame just increasingly grew. And the only way I could describe it, it was though I was living with a noose around my neck. And the more I tried to find joy outside of Jesus, the tighter the noose got. And one day, 2001, I was driving from St. Louis up to Chicago, and the car accident, I got a DUI. DUI is driving under the influence of alcohol. And the Lord used that to grab a hold of me, to soften me, and to show me, you think you're trying to live life and it will go well with you living without me. But the end of this life that's without me will be your destruction. But a life with me would be your joy. Amen. It will be your joy. And I remember, I didn't want Jesus for me. I've wrestled. I'm like, no, I'm going to do me. I'm going to do me, man. I'm early 20s. I just started my career. I'm going to do me. And the more I tried to wrestle and reason Jesus out, Jesus like, you can do you if you want to, but you're seeing where doing you is bringing you. And I remember one day, I knelt down in my closet. I just cried out like, all right, Jesus. Like everyone says you're a big deal. Everyone says you really are king. I am not really sure if that's true. But if anyone needs a king right now, I do. Like if anyone needs you to be real, Jesus, I need it. And so I just cried out like, Jesus, I am not sure you're real, but if you are, would you show me right now? Would you show me that you really are real and I am not left to my own destruction and demise? In a moment, crying out to Jesus. It's a moment I never got over. It's a moment where I felt like he just enveloped me with his warmth and love and called me his. See, I'm up here. The reason why I preach, the reason why I sweat and excited about Jesus, it's not because I'm special. It's because the Bible says that we were created for him, and that if you give your life to that, you would experience a love and a joy that will blow your mind. I've tasted it, and I've never gotten over it. Now, my biggest sadness in life is I wish I got it in 7th grade, or 9th grade, or 11th grade. Because I had a lot of pain that I had to work through because I waited so long. Today, Jesus stands before you. For you who have not chosen him, I created you for me. And you thinking that life is simple and you can just do your thing without me. It's not. And that which you are looking for, joy, love, acceptance, it's all in me. Come to me. And for those of you who know Jesus, who you have drifted some, and you started adding things to Jesus, and you started minimizing what he's done for you, and there's not a zeal and an excitement about Jesus, though he's the creator and the leader of all things, Jesus stands before you tonight and says, wake up! Wake up! You've experienced the fullness of joy in God. To give yourself to anything else would be foolish. And no matter where you're at, all of us can grow in seeing Jesus more over all. So let's pray and ask him to do that. Lord God, I pray for those who do not know you. I pray that you save them. They don't have to wait till they're 23 and 25. They don't have to wait till after making poor decisions. Right now, God, I know they can know you. So I am praying to save them. God, I'm praying that you open their eyes. And God, I pray for us, those of us who know you, God. But we're like the Colossians. We know you, but we've kind of drifted a little bit. And we could have added some other things to you. We love you. We're following you. But academics and our schoolwork is just a little bit more important. Sports is just a little bit more important. Friends is just a little bit more important. And God, so we come asking that you to set our eyes back on you. To love you, to trust you. Truly the one over all. So in your son's name we pray. Every head bowed. No eyes on me. No eyes on me. I just want you to have a moment with Jesus. You personally ask Jesus to show you what he wants to show you. All heads bowed, eyes closed. This is just a time we call confession. So if you're here and you're like me, if you're honest, you are not seeing and living for Jesus as though he really is Jesus overall. And there are some things that have distracted you. There's some things that you've added to him. And you just, between you, Jesus, you just want to confess that and just say, Jesus, this is me, and I'm sorry. If that's you, just all heads, that eyes closed. Just slip your hand up if that's you. Don't be ashamed, slip it up. Good job. Put your hand down. Lord, we trust that you're going to do the work, not just tonight, for the rest of this weekend as we learn to know you, to see you, to live for you as though you are over all.